In the headlines, Barbados' Prime Minister is taking the Bridgetown initiative to the world. Medicinal cannabis products being used here in Barbados to treat several conditions. In an historic first, the former U.S. President Donald Trump arraigned on federal charges and pleads not guilty. And in sports, the Windies spin a web around Scotland to win their first warm-up match of the ICC qualifiers.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Shane Seeley. Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley is taking the Bridgetown initiative to the world as she continues to lobby for a $1 billion deal for climate financing to secure the future of Barbados and other small island developing states. From tomorrow, she will be on a 2-week overseas mission, which takes her to London, Switzerland, Ghana, and Paris. This was announced as the Prime Minister and senior government officials, along with their guest of honor, Executive Vice President for the European Commission, His Excellency Frans Timmermans, toured a number of communities here in Barbados impacted by climate change.
We are fighting through the Bridgetown initiative to be able to have a new deal with respect to how we can access money to be able to build in a more resilient way. Because for every dollar we spend now, we save $7 in spending if we were hit and damaged by a climate crisis.
That's the objective outlined by Prime Minister Motley as she embarks on a 2-week mission tomorrow. The Bridgetown initiative, as a response to the climate crisis, tops the agenda. She describes it as a grueling roadmap.
We go to London first tomorrow, and what I'm doing here with Mr. Timmermans, we will have the opportunity to do with all of the British High Commissioners and ambassadors globally who have been brought together to London, and they've invited me to speak to them, particularly on the Bridgetown initiative and our ability to be able to get this new financing deal, not just for Barbados, but for the world, whether it is increasing the capital of World Bank and other regional development banks so that they can lend us at affordable rates, to put in water pipes, to do the coastal preservation, to ensure that our aquifers are not the only thing we rely on, particularly when the saline activity becomes too high.
Prime Minister Motley also reports a number of countries are now paying close attention to natural disaster clauses under the Bridgetown initiative.
And what does that simply mean? That when a crisis, a climatic crisis happens, you can pause paying your debt for 2 years without affecting your credit rating or your credit worthiness. And that space that you get, in our particular case in Barbados, will be the equivalent of about $2 billion.
There are a number of stops along the way, including Geneva, Switzerland, for an engagement on artificial intelligence, Ghana, as Barbados prepares to be the regional headquarters of the Afri-Exim Bank, and then over to China, where she will meet a number of high-level officials. But it's during a summit for a new global financing pact in Paris, where there will be a major push for the world to mobilize $1.5 trillion in private sector investment right across the globe in an effort to limit global warming to the tune of 1.5 degrees.
We want the multilateral development banks and the regional development banks, the Inter-American Development Bank, the World Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, to be able to put these natural disaster clauses in their debt instruments too. So instead of us only benefiting to $2 billion because of the clauses in our commercial paper, we can benefit more when it becomes accepted across the multilateral banks. That's what Paris is about.
Now, while in London, the Prime Minister will also meet with King Charles III to celebrate the contribution of the Windrush generation in building Britain in the 20th century. And we are also hearing tonight that proposals put forward under the Bridgetown initiative have breathed new life into the global debate on climate financing. That assertion from the Executive Vice President for the European Commission, His Excellency Frans Timmermans, who is the EU lead on climate issues.
On these issues, size is of relative importance. The quality of your proposals is of huge importance. And Prime Minister Motley is a global leader on the future of international finance. And we beg you, allow her to make this effort. You know, can we borrow her for a bit at the global level? Because it is important. It is important because at the end of the day, whatever you do nationally will only have a real effect if it is mirrored by what is happening internationally, and your credibility internationally only happens if you deliver nationally as well.
In other news on Newsnight, babies and elderly people are among those in Barbados benefiting from the use of medicinal cannabis products to treat to their medical issues. This was revealed by the director of the Barbados Drug Service, Miriam Karga-Hines. She confirmed that prescriptions for cannabinoid products, which are primarily imported, are being filled locally, provided they are written by a registered medical practitioner.
Sometimes a child could have fits up to 200 times in a day. But with this medicine, it's reduced to either 1 or 2, and the children can lead normal life to what they previously had. And for the elderly, seizures as well as there's for not wanting, Barbados is a very small country. There is an ex-commissioner of police from another territory, not from Barbados, a lady who perhaps is in her 80s or almost 90s. She uses it for her arthritis, and with it she is as good as anything, and she can bear she doesn't feel any pain, I should say.
Ms. Karga-Hines there was speaking as the Barbados Drug Service and the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority, the BMCLA, signed a memorandum of understanding for the regulation of medicinal cannabis use in Barbados. It stipulates that the authority will regulate cannabis in its plant form, whereas the drug service will have purview over the finished product, including tablets, creams, and gels. During the signing ceremony, the acting chief executive officer of the BMCLA, Senator Shanika Roberts-Odell, revealed that 5 more businesses have been awarded medicinal cannabis licenses, up from 2 last July.
We have approved an additional 9 licenses for 5 more licensees, right? So those licenses, I want to just give you a range. That will cover cultivator, Tier 2, 3 cultivators at Tier 1, 1 processor, 1 import license, 1 export license, and 2 retail distributor licenses. It's about 77% local ownership, 15% local or CARICOM ownership, and 8% are local and international ownership.
Under the legislation, all international companies must have at least a 30% local or CARICOM national direct ownership to operate a medicinal cannabis business here in Barbados. And in related news, we're also hearing that Barbadians interested in learning how to cultivate medicinal and medical grade cannabis will get the opportunity to do so as early as this September. That's because the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology will be rolling out a new course. This was announced by Senator Roberts-Odell as she also signed a memorandum of understanding with the institute. She revealed the cannabis cultivation medical grade levels 2 and 3 qualification was created by the TVET Council in conjunction with international, regional, and local experts.
It's not just about the theory of growing medicinal cannabis. It's also about the practical aspects of what you now need to be able to elevate your skill sets to be able to include assessment and certification. Because we wanted to make sure that when you walked away with a certificate, it wasn't just a certificate that said, okay, check a box. A certificate that you can take from Barbados to wherever you need to go in the world, to be able to say, I have a national vocational qualification in cannabis cultivation, and to put you on your way to becoming that master grower that is internationally recognized.
And principal of the SJPI, Ian Drake, says the plan is to extend the training to the region.
We want to expand this beyond Barbados, by the way, and we want to deal with the region, and that's why we have involved TVET Council, who does what we call the Caribbean Vocational Training Certificate, which allows you then to, with the CARICOM countries that sign on, be able to get this training right here, and we will look at the blended approach where you do the online and then come to Barbados for the practical aspect.
In some news from police now, lawmen are investigating a shooting incident last night that left one person injured. Lawmen from the District A police station were quick to respond to Regent Hill, The Pines, St. Michael on receiving the report around 9 p.m. Police were able to confirm the incident and later learned a 29-year-old male had received a gunshot injuries really about his body. The victim was transported via private motorcar to hospital for medical attention. His injuries are, however, not life-threatening. Some big news internationally now. The former president, Donald Trump, is maintaining his innocence, making a not guilty plea in a Miami federal court today. Indicted on 37 counts related to his handling of classified documents since leaving office, he's the first former president to face federal charges. Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Commichon, welcomes the bloc's efforts in assisting Haiti in finding a satisfactory and sustainable solution to address the ongoing political crisis there. Discussions continue today with Haitian stakeholders in Jamaica. The meeting comes after a CARICOM special mission to Haiti in late February, led by Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Well, CARICOM has also established an eminent persons group to take the process forward. The eminent persons group consists of former prime ministers, one from Bahamas, Perry Christie, the former prime minister of Jamaica, Bruce Golding, and former prime minister of St. Lucia, Dr. Kenny Anthony. Ambassador Commichon sees the eminent persons group as among the bloc's boldest and most substantial initiatives.
They have been mandated to carry out a number of engagements with the what we call the Haitian stakeholders. That is, representatives of Haitian civil society, representatives of the administration, the governmental administration in Haiti, with a view to bringing them to the negotiating table and helping them to work out a consensus on a way forward for Haiti. And so that CARICOM Good Officers mission has started with this engagement in Jamaica. We have brought dozens of Haitian civil society leaders to Jamaica.
Television programs produced here in Barbados could very well be shown in China. The announcement by Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, Sanka Price, comes as CBC partners with Brazil-based China Media Group for Latin America and the Caribbean. The two sides have been collaborating on producing programs in this regard. Through the partnership, CBC will also be receiving English-speaking programs covering several areas, including culture and technology. Mr. Price, after viewing the available programs, is upbeat.
There was one that jumped at me called Tech It Out, T-E-C-H, Tech It Out. And they were talking about the whole solar industry, and energy, alternative energy sources, which is like something that we are immersed in Barbados, given our goals for 2030. And the simple explanations was something that I found that would be very, very interesting to Barbadians. And we can go on, but as I went on reviewing some of the programs, I realized that we can actually learn a lot. I mean, as average Barbadians, it gave you a level of information and insight that one does not normally get.
Journalist with the China Media Group for Latin America and the Caribbean, Zheng Ziquan, through her interactions with Barbadians thus far, welcomes their interest in China. This, she notes, could serve as a platform to begin the collaboration.
I found so many people, they can speak something in Chinese, even though something basic, but they know something about China. And when we do some interview on the road. They talked about the Chinese medicine, about acupuncture. Yeah, I think these are the ways that we can begin to start our cooperation. And the China Media Group, we have many resources, relatives like this. Maybe we can give you some kind of materials, and we can make this kind of exchanges in this area.
This year's season of Emancipation has been going well with positive feedback from Barbadians. Government Special Advisor on Culture and Heritage, Senator John King, assessed the season, which got underway on April 14th, the anniversary of the Bussa Slave Rebellion, noting organizers took special interest in the educational aspect. The latest event, the Rock Hall Heritage and International Fair, is set for Saturday at Rock Hall, St. Thomas. During the event, patrons will be exposed to the rich diversity of Barbados' culture, heritage, and other activities. Senator King was a guest on CBC TV8's Morning Barbados.
The Rock Hall Heritage and International Food Fair is a combination of two events we had last year, and due to, as everyone knows, we've had some budget cuts and we've had to shift a few things. We've condensed both those events into one. And on Saturday, and that's this Saturday, June 17th, it happens at Rock Hall, starts early in the morning from 10 o'clock until 6 in the afternoon. This is an opportunity for those of you who are looking for something to do, especially as a family. Great occasion to come out of the house.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
4 on the trot now for the Windies team. Let's go over to Damien Best for all of the details on the Windies' winning ways. Damien, over to you.
Thanks so much, Shane. Well, indeed, West Indies off to a good start. Let's start with this one. West Indies cruised to a comfortable 92-run victory over Scotland in their first warm-up match at the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifiers in Zimbabwe today. Yannick Carrier took 4 for 46 and Roston Chase 3 for 43 as Scotland, in their pursuit of 264 for victory, slumped from 54 for 1 to 173 all out in 33.5 overs. Now earlier, Shea Hope and Romario Shepherd both hit half centuries of 57 and 53 respectively to lead the way for the Windies. Chris Soule, he took 4 wickets, while Jack Jarvis and Chris Graves had 3 apiece. Shepherd said afterwards he was pleased with the team's effort.
I came out here today looking to spend some time in the middle because I've been playing a lot of T20 cricket. You know, this is my opportunity to play 50 over cricket in a while. So basically when I went out to bat, you know, about 15 over remaining, I said to myself if I can set myself up, you know, to get some runs at the back end. And, you know, I did that, you know, easily today because the pitch dried out and, you know, it was quite easy to bat at the back end there. And also with the ball, you know, I wanted to bowl more overs, but, you know, unfortunately, I didn't get, you know, the amount of over that I wanted today because, you know, we all have had to participate in the match. And, you know, the bowlers bowl well, you know, especially Yannick.
Match for the Windies is set for Thursday against United Arab Emirates. Well, a desperate plea tonight from one of Barbados' brightest stars in the boxing arena for the re-establishment of a professional boxing board on the island. It's come from Cobia Brady, who has been making waves in the United States of America in a new and exciting boxing format called Team Combat League. Each match contains 18 3-minute rounds of non-stop action, and teams compete across 6 weight categories, 5 male and 1 female. Now, each round is scored individually with additional points added for knockouts and knockdowns. At the moment, Brady and his DC Destroyers team just clinched a playoff spot and are poised to go all the way and win the tournament. However, he says his ultimate aim this year is to stage a big televised professional boxing card in Barbados that will not only boost the sport locally, but add to the island's sports tourism efforts. At the moment, that cannot happen without a professional boxing board in place.
And I want for a belt, money line, and I want to bring a title back to Barbados, right in front of the face, fight any of the top fighters in America, all the top fighters in the world, bring out to Barbados, and we put everything on the line, and we go and get Barbados, the crowd, a grand opening, big professional fight. In this social media era, this is a different era. bring the youngsters out, bring the people out. Let we have a good time. Let we make this happen. We make history. Let we bring joy. Let we change a young man's life. Not all we ask for. All I want to do is help. I in a position where I have a lot of traction right now in this boxing league thing and T-Combat League, and I'm making a lot of noise on internet right now with this combat league, and it changing the narrative with everything.
Brady also told CBC Sports professional boxing can be an avenue of financial freedom for the youth.
Boxing changed me. Boxing help. Boxing can help a young man change the directions to going on the wrong road, losing his life, or doing streets or doing drugs. People need hope. People need change. People need something to fight for. And I've been fighting for it my whole life, and I still fighting to this day. And I'm doing great for myself. I'm doing real great for myself, for me and my family. You know what I mean? So I just want the people in Barbados, and I know Barbados would love to come home and see me fight. Barbados would love to see a good boxing event home for people to come out and enjoy themselves. You know, people that's got a bubbles and watch Tank and Devin Haney and these guys. They don't know these guys. They know me. I'm a Barbadian. I over here representing your flag to the fullest.
We're back. Well, Shauna Neverson showed all her class to easily defend her title when the Barbados Drafts Association's National Youth Tournament climaxed at the Lodge Road Drafts Club recently. With 4 rounds to play on the final day of the competition, the informed champion swept aside opponents Jamie Marshall, Kyle Jones and Vashon Edwards 2-0 to retain her title. She also drew love all with Veronica Barry, who finished second. Neverson in the black finished on 25 points to secure the Mighty Gabby Trophy once again. Barry ended on 18 points and Jones was third with 17 points. The musical master, Dr. Anthony Gabby Carter, presented the winning trophy.
Drafts has been something that I love. I don't get a chance to play 50 years. But it's a thinking person's game. And it keeps you out of trouble. It's not expensive to get into. It's very cheap to get into. But it keeps your mind agile and your brain, and it allows you to think all the time.
In business news, the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme's Entrepreneurial Development Training Program will provide the necessary tools and skills for young entrepreneurs here in Barbados. The initiative, which includes plans for the development of young masters of ceremony to be used in programs for young people, was recently rolled out for new cohorts. Past student Shawnee Springer addressed the participants and told them about her journey. Let's hear from her.
The future of young entrepreneurship is in safe hands. This from alumnus of the YES Entrepreneurial Development Training Program, Shawnee Springer. And recalling her experience with her team and the creation of perspective graphics, she told the cohorts a new chapter in their lives is about to begin.
Perspective Graphics is a graphic design business providing creative and affordable graphic design for entrepreneurs. And I also provide social media management so we can all chat afterwards. Prior to COVID, I always had a passion for marketing, and very often I would find myself dabbling in a graphic here or there. However, I never thought to pursue it as a business, and so that chapter closed.
She said the COVID-19 pandemic had brought a number of challenges, causing her and her team to move what had started as a hobby into a business.
Entrepreneurship is not something to fall back on, or it is not something that persons who are not so educated should do. Entrepreneurship should be ingrained in the minds and hearts of all people at all levels. As a small island developing state, it should be a priority for us to create and develop businesses. Entrepreneurship is the catalyst for growth, period. And so let us as entrepreneurs redefine entrepreneurship. Our goods and services, yes, services, should be exported to improve our balance of trade as a company. And yes, I know the powers that be, they have to be the ones to facilitate this, but it's up to us as entrepreneurs to ensure that we provide the quality needed to export on a global market.
She said entrepreneurship calls for total participation from everyone. The alumnus told the participants the course presents the necessary grounding for young entrepreneurs to develop their business.
It required everybody to show up and show out and to actually make it a success. My business growth, how did my business grow? Thanks to yes. Well, I got new clients, new structures, new partnerships, and I feel confident with my business now. As I close, I just want to remind you of a few things. One, redefine yourself. This is a new chapter for you. Redefine your business. If you leave this development program the same way you came, you've wasted your time. Redefine entrepreneurship. Share your experiences so that others can benefit.
Acting manager of the scheme, Ryan Mosley, in his remarks to the new cohorts, said business is no longer just brick and mortar, but includes online and e-commerce and presents an opportunity to forge friendships and partnerships.
Yes continues to evolve to meet the needs of the market where entrepreneurship is concerned. It is a dynamic process. Entrepreneurs are becoming extremely smart in the global world. It is no longer brick and mortar. It is all about online. It is all about e-commerce. So as technology increases and broadens, yes, seeks to follow suit and evolve as well.
The YES program is not an academic experience, but a hands-on exercise. For the YES Business Report, I'm Trevor Thorpe.
Thanks, Trevor. Well, Barbados and Kuwait have taken another step towards strengthening their relationship. The island's ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, Gabriel Abed, recently presented his letters of credence to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Kuwait in Kuwait City. Ambassador Abed, who is based in Abu Dhabi, will serve as non-resident ambassador to the State of Kuwait. Following the presentation, the two officials exchanged views on ways to enhance the relationship between Barbados and Kuwait, including a visa waiver agreement, an air services agreement, and job opportunities.
Two Barbadian jockeys and a trainer stole the headlines at Woodbine in Canada on Sunday after success in 3 of the 11 races at the track. Kevin Nichols rode Mad Dog and Joe to victory in race 1. Then Rico Walcott piloted There's No Joe to a win in the Canadian $111,000 race 7, going 7 furlongs. Walcott then returned to secure his first stakes win at the track, a $125,000 purse in race 8 with a horse trained by Barbadian Tedston Holder. Another Barbadian jockey, Patrick Husbands, was a close second on board Paramount Prince.
Away they race in the Queenston Stakes. Starter got them out as 1. Going through is Paramount Prince and Pulanin OT to be joint leaders, and showing up is also near the inside Kauko Kaipu to make a line of 3 as Pulanin OT has the head in front. A length and a half away is One Bay Hemingway off the track, and over on the inside Hey Q. The centre is Keen Flatter, and then opposites attract. Grand Spirited behind them. Off the inside One for Chap making ground, and then Cool Kiss. Philip My Dear is second last. Stablemate at the back, Moon landing on the inside, and Paramount Prince has gone out in front with Pulanin OT tugging along well. A length and a half Kauko Kaipu. Off the track goes Keen Flatter in the centre Hey Q, followed by One Bay Hemingway, and then Grand Spirited. One for Chap the outside moving up. On the rails is opposites attract from Moon landing Philip My Dear and Cool Kiss at the back. They race along towards the 3/8 and Pulanin OT's gone a neck in front of Paramount Prince the inside. A length and a half away in third is Keen Flatter. One Bay Hemingway 4 wide. Kauko Kaipu on the inside pushing up. Hey Q is right there in the centre. One for Chap running on, and then Grand Spirited and opposites attract as they come for the home stretch in the Queenston Stakes. And on the inside, Paramount Prince back in front with Pulanin OT. And down the outside is Hey Q coming at them from Kauko Kaipu. Running on a bit, One Bay Hemingway. It's Pulanin OT who's gone to the front. And on the inside, Paramount Prince. And now Kauko Kaipu mows them down. And Kauko Kaipu has gone on to win for Tedston Holder and Rico Walcott in the Queenston Stakes.
Yeah, tremendous ride. Well, afterwards, Walcott said patience paid off in the end.
I leave the gates not bad, but Patrick Horsley's pretty sharp too. and he was right next to me, and it seems like when he switches lead over, Patrick switches horse lead over, kind of came over to the rail, so then I was behind him, and I was kind of boxed in, and I had to wait till like the head of the lane, and there still was nowhere to go, like when I straightened up, right, and coming down halfway down the stretch, like I pulled out, and he kicked on again, and keep riding him to the pole.
Ted, you've been at Woodbine for a long time. What does it mean to win a stake race like this?
First, I'd like to dedicate this win to Ricky Griffith, who's paved the way for us to be here.
Absolutely. Very well said. You pick up a stakes win with this horse. Obviously a horse that has improved a lot this season. You look back at last year, ran some really good races, but it just seems like this year the horse has taken the next step. Would you agree with that?
He had a good winter. We stopped on him in end of September, early October, and got him down to Florida, so we had a really good winter, matured a lot, grew, and it benefited him.
And that's our time for this edition of CBC NewsNight. I'm Shane Seeley. Good night. Thanks for visiting us. Now, if you want to see more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always go to cbc.bb for the latest news and current affairs.